first question, I would like to invite Srijan Nayak from Delhi Technological University, India, to ask his question.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is, although the purpose of education is to gain knowledge, I can't just help thinking of marks when I see others scoring higher. How do we aim for gaining knowledge from the education, refraining from succumbing to the competition?
Karsa.
유다 롭존 장야디지 수수로 신윤 자야 치더라 시행 등산다지 젠즈고 왕기다지 자자야 보내야 딜라 슈슈자가 크라인 딜라 슈자 쇼도 시게 마시에 탑시 지 젠드루 젠센티 메베치시네 롭존 장야 탑시
The sense of competition, you see, actually two kind. One, you see, in order to promote knowledge among students, among people, you see, you try to be first, top, and show them, and to pursue them. That kind of competition is positive. Another negative competition, in order to you become first, actually create a problem to other, try to cause the behind. That's wrong. So every human action, you see, much depend on motivation. Since sincere motivation, compassionate motivation, combined with a wider perspective, then so sometimes action appears a little bit negative, but because of motivation and utilize the wisdom, so then it could be very positive, very helpful. Okay. So competition is necessary, particularly when we also study the philosophy or logic, including myself, when I carry final examination, there's some kind of I should be first, and other they try to sometimes to see even cleverness, a little bit cheating also. So these are basically, you see, sincere motivation and good purpose, no problem. Okay. And you see, Dignac and Dharmakirti, this logical sort of approach, you see, if you're too honest, then the difficult. So you should be more clever, according the debater sort of thinking, debater's thinking. Then accordingly, sometimes you need little sort of cleverness. I also do that. Like that. So all this depend on motivation. Okay. Then next question.
Thank you, His Holiness. The next question is from Bhartendra Dubey, a student from JP Institute of Information Technology, Noida.
Greetings, His Holiness. My question is, what is the relation between physical and mental wellness, and how do we obtain a balance of both in our lives? Thank you.
Physical health, mental health, very close link. We usually say the physical health, some part, your blood, your sort of certain physical element not balanced, then difficult. But you see the physical now, for example, the high blood pressure, very much related with mental peace. Mentally, peace, not much anxiety, not much sort of, what's it, fear. Oh, then the blood pressure, these are very low. So, peace of mind, mental level, complete restful, that also you see great effect for physical health. Okay. So now these days, you see some illness because of too much anxiety, too much anger. So now, mental health, very sort of related with physical health. And in some cases, of course, it's a physical illness disturb our mind. But many cases, mind peaceful. And then automatically body element also goes smoothly. Like that. Okay. So now, as I already mentioned, the Indian tradition is the logical way to keep karuna, ahimsa, is the best way to keep peace of mind. That automatically help physical health. Okay. I think I can, of course, not nice, but some relevant here. I'm now 87-year-old. Whole my life, you see, difficult. When I was in Tibet, a lot of difficulties. And then India, when we reach India as a refugee, there are a lot of problems. And mainly, you see, inside Tibet, a lot of problems because of Chinese suppression. And one way, Chinese ruthless suppression, Chinese communist, and one way, Tibetan determined. But we, even you see, thinking towards the Chinese, those also the hardliner, as we consider them as a human brothers, sisters, and actually is our neighbor. For example, one Tibetan monk who spent 18 years in Chinese gulag, Chinese prison. I think in early 80, you see, he found opportunity come to here. Then we talk, since I know him before 59, I know him very well. So I asked him, what kind of life, 18 years in Chinese prison. He told me, occasionally he faced some danger. I thought danger on his life. Oh, what kind of danger? And his answer is danger losing compassion towards Chinese. So he feels, you see, keeping compassion towards your enemy is very essential. So he considered losing compassion towards the troublemaker, he considered very dangerous. So as a result, you see that person very peaceful, like that. So the Shantideva, once you see, in his writing, he mentioned, your enemy is best teacher. You can practice patience and many good things from when you face some problem with your enemy. So enemy is best teacher. The Shantidevas, the
Writing.
uh,
Bodhisattva Charya Avatar.
Bodhisattva Charya Avatara mentioned like that. Actually, you see, training of our mind make distinction, destructive emotion and constructive emotion. Then constructive emotion is direct sort of weapon to reduce destructive emotion. So self-centered, selfish is the key factor for problem. For that, counterforce is altruism. As I already mentioned, you see, karuna, altruism, is the antidote of self-centered, selfish. Then another thing, the 1,000-year-old, you see, India's thinking, things does not exist as sort of independently. The Sanskrit word patitta samuppada. Things exist due to a different factor, interdependency. So that concept very helpful, you see, to reduce the things exist as appears, though appears something independent. The reality, due to other factor, including your own viewpoint, you see, creates different reality. On that basis, then angers, attachment, fear, all these negative emotions, you see, come. So therefore, these two practice. One we call upaya sight, that's karuna. One praja sight, nothing exists as appears, as independently exist. Things are interdependent. So these ancient Indian, also the knowledge, these very, very useful, you see, to keep our mind calm. Even you see difficult circumstances, you can keep your mind calm. So as I mentioned briefly, I myself also student of these great Indian master. I practice, so you see, I can keep peace of mind. When I heard some problem, some sort of suppression in Tibet, you see, I can pray those those Chinese officials, hardliner officials. I especially, you see, pray for them like that. These are very helpful, you see, to keep peace of mind. With that, you see, it seems now I have no blood pressure, always low. That also some sort of connection, my peace of mind. Okay. I never touch tranquilizer. My mind always is peace. All this, I believe, the Indian sort of thought, ahimsa, karuna, these really makes my mind more calm. That also, you see, affect my physical condition. Okay. Now, next question.
Thank you, His Holiness. I would next like to invite Dipesh Budhiraj from Balbharti Public School, Pitampura, India, to ask his question.
Namaste, His Holiness. My question is, how can one be satisfied with what one has and not care about what others have got? Thank you.
I think the material things, including your own good name, or all these, you see, too much sort of grasping, my, that brings more trouble. So contentment is very important. Then, once you have the practice of contentment, then it's other sort of, what's it, kasota, longju kare.
Wealth.
Oh, others, welfare, ka, welsa, ka.
Wealth now.
Then, certainly, no sort of desire or other sort of, what's it, thing like that. So, firstly, important, we should know the inner value. The material thing are secondary. If we too much emphasis about material value, or your own case, no contentment, always want, then since you too much sort of, what's it, grasping the material thing, then others sort of material, also sometimes you develop some desire, like that. Okay. Now next.